Good day everyone, I am Sheen Gabriela Gumbay, and for today we will talk about my assigned parasite, which is the Pneumocystis jirovecii. To formally start our discussion, let us know first our key concept of the things we need to discuss. We have first its definition, distribution, habitat, morphology, life cycle, pathogenesis, and clinical features, its immunity, diagnosis, treatment, and lastly, the prevention and control. So what is Pneumocystis jirovecii? So it is a yeast-like fungus of the genus Pneumocystis, particularly found in people with weakened immune systems. This fungus was previously known as the Pneumocystis sarini, but it was renamed when it was discovered that what was thought to be a single species actually consisted of multiple species. So the name was replaced in honor of the Czech parasitologist named Otto Jirovec, who introduces the Pneumocystis pneumonia in the human. Next is its distribution. Again, it is formerly known as the Pneumocystis sarini and is distributed worldwide and has been described in all continents except Antarctica. So its distribution is more prevalent in densely populated urban areas and in regions which has a higher prevalence of HIV and AIDS. Next is the habitat of the parasite inside our body. So this is primarily inhabits the lungs of human. It colonizes the alveoli, which are tiny air sacs where gas exchange occurs. Since Pneumocystis jirovecii is another type of pneumonia, its parasite prefer to inhabit in moist with low humidity area, which makes our lungs a perfect place for them. Moving on to its morphology. So the Pneumocystis jirovecii are small and round, typically ranging from 2 to 5 micrometers in diameter. They are also spherical or oval in shape. They also are brown or brown reddish in color. Note also that this organism cannot be seen with the naked eye and can only be viewed under the microscope. Moving on to its life cycle. So there are two phases of the P. jirovecii's life cycle. We have the asexual and the sexual phase. So in the asexual phase, the mode of reproduction does not involve fusion. Instead, the offspring is produced by a single pair. So in this trophic form, it undergoes the process of the mitosis, in which a cell replicates its chromosomes, then separates them, producing two identical nuclei in preparation for cell division. For its sexual phase, the production of new organisms are formed by the combination of genetic information of two individuals of different sexes. In haploid, trophic forms are conjugated and produce a zygote, persist, or diploid. Since the zygote is formed, it will undergo meiosis and subsequent mitosis to produce again 8 haploid nuclei or late phase cyst. Once it matures, the spores will exhibit different shapes, and this is the time that the spores will reach its infective stage. And lastly, the existment where the cycle goes back to its trophic form and the cycle begins again. Next, we'll talk about the pathogenesis and the clinical features of the Pneumocystis jirovecii. So this parasite can cause pneumonia, which is an infection that affects the lungs, hypoxemia, a low level of oxygen in the blood that may cause respiratory failure, which is a serious condition that makes it difficult to breathe. Lastly, P. jirovecii can also cause pneumothorax, which is also known as collapsed lung. This happens when air leaks into the spaces between the lungs and the chest wall. So the exact mode of transmission of the Pneumocystis jirovecii is not fully understood, but it is believed to occur through inhalation of airborne cysts or trophozoites, which is I said earlier that the inhalation of these spores is the infective stage of the parasite. So moving on to its immunity. People with healthy immune systems generally have some level of immunity against the said pathogen. However, the fungus can cause lung problems in individuals with weakened immune system, such as those with HIV or AIDS, undergoing chemotherapy, or taking immunosuppressive medications. In short, the most common cases that affects the pathogen are persons who are immunocompromised. This time, let us know the diagnosis or ways how to detect the pathogen and what are the possible signs and symptoms that an individual may experience when they are infected. Possible signs and symptoms is dry cough. This is a cough that doesn't produce mucus or phlegm, dyspnea or the shortness of breath, chest pain, and high fever. For the diagnostic test, we have chest X-ray and CT scan. This is an imaging that create pictures of the inside of the body, and the bronchoalveolar lavage or the induced sputum sample. So this can be obtained by coughing deeply, and the expelled material that comes from the lungs is taken to a lab to identify the pathogen that caused the infection. And now for the treatment of the pathogen, we have the first drug of choice, which is the cotrimoxazole or the combination of the trimethoprim and sulfamethoxazole. This is an antimicrobial medication treatment for PJP or the Pneumocystis jirovecii pneumonia of any severity in HIV infected. So the treatment duration of 21 days is recommended for HIV infected patients. And for the alternative medication, this includes pentamidine, otavocone, dapsone plus trimethoprim, and clindamycin plus primaquine. At this juncture, let us now discuss the prevention and control of the pathogen. So first is the prophylactic medication. This is for individuals at high risk, such as those with HIV or AIDS, are undergoing immunosuppressive therapy. Prophylactic medication like trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole are often prescribed to prevent the PJP. Also, antiretroviral therapy or ART for HIV positive individuals. This is to maintain a high CD4 cell count through ART is crucial. So higher CD4 counts reduce the risk of opportunistic infections, including the PJP. So the CD4 count or cells are also called the CD4 T lymphocytes or the helper T cells. These T cells help fight infection that is present in the body. We also have education and awareness, educating individuals at risk, healthcare providers, and the general public about the risk factors, symptoms, and preventive measures such as wearing mask, hand washing for PJP can help in early detection and management. We also have vaccination. While there is no currently vaccine specifically for Pneumocystis jirovecii, vaccination against other respiratory pathogens such as Streptococcus pneumoniae or pneumococcus can help prevent concurrent infections and reduce the overall burden on the immune system. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.